Eternity's Shadow by E. Thomas Canton. Copyright 2024 E. Thomas Canton. All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic or mechanical, including photocopy, recording, or by any information storage and retrieval system, without written consent from the publisher. Credits. Voices by MURF.com. Sound effects from www.freesoundslibrary.com. And additional sound effects from www.zapsplat.com and pixabay.com. Music by www.zapsplat.com and IB Audio. Making a house of cards in a hurricane is all the control one has over one's fate. Maximilian Nilsson. History of the Fall of Elsincourt. 2 a.m. Moonlight shone through my half-open bedroom windows as the curtain swayed in the breeze. I knew these things, because I found it impossible to sleep that night. I'd run the day's events through my head for hours as I lay there in the darkness. Not only did I not receive a raise, the Archbishop informed me that if I spoke of this to anyone, he would make certain I spent the rest of my life begging for food in the slums on the outskirts of the city. That was the stick. I had to stop thinking about it. I mean, in all seriousness, how could I expect to concentrate on anything when the nun lying beside me snored like a congested heifer? My head turned to my other side, to find at least that one sleeping. No, I didn't have a fetish for nuns, let me be clear about that. They were the carrot. Brand new gifts from the Archbishop. Not for a job well executed, but to monitor me. He didn't want me talking to anyone about the Nexus, and they were there to ensure I kept my mouth closed. I got up and walked downstairs to my favorite brown leather chair to have a cigar and a glass of brandy. It didn't take long after my last promotion for alcohol became one of the more pleasant fringe benefits of my new position. It seemed to be the only thing I looked forward to anymore. Cancer and liver damage. That's not true. I too acquired a small art collection. The Archbishop's collection included larger, more famous works that were worth millions more than mine. I found my few, rather obscure pieces to be more interesting, at least to me. It hung on my walls downstairs to allow my guests the opportunity to be impressed. But I didn't collect art to show off. I studied the painters and their work before making any purchase. I could tell you almost anything about any piece of my art or the artists who created them. As I lit my cigar, I sat studying a portrait created by a disgraced Italian artist. He worked in the period following the Dark Ages. Art experts laughed when I told them that piece intrigued me. They all called it a lost piece from an unknown, worthless painter who never saw much success. That may have been true, but the more I looked into this artist, the more he intrigued me. He was a painter, an inventor, sculptor, architect, mathematician, engineer, astronomer, writer, and historian. A week after seeing the painting for the first time, I walked back into the gallery and purchased it. The curator laughed as he took my money, but I didn't care. I sensed something special about it, and I often wondered about the model's enigmatic smile, trying to imagine what might have inspired it. As I reached for the bottle, I could see that the congested heifer now stood at the top of the stairs wearing one of my good white shirts.
Do you do this every night?
She yawned.
Are you alright?
She would make a point of reporting everything I said to the Archbishop. My home felt like a prison cell. I'm fine. Fine. Sister Mary Teresa descended the stairs as I lied to her. I saw no sin in the lie, as I didn't believe she wanted to hear the truth, anyway. I thought she wanted to hear something nice so she could go back to bed feeling she had accomplished her job.
You sure?
She asked as she paused at the bottom of the stairs. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. You can go back to bed now. Thank you. I didn't understand why she insisted.
You sound annoyed.
This conversation annoys me. She walked toward me. An animal with its leg caught in a trap must feel much the same as I did then.
Why would you say that?
Stop talking. God damn it. She slapped me.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
She reprimanded me as I rubbed my burning cheek. Tell me, darling, were nuns always whores and hypocrites, or is this a recent development? She tried to slap me again, but I caught her arm in mid-swing. Do you wish to be noted? I said. She took a deep breath to calm herself. No one wanted the gendarmes to begin a file on them. Even the Archbishop's spies were subject to the gendarmes. Once begun, they would never let up until you were facing an inquisitor. It didn't matter if you were a living saint. They would find something.
You wouldn't do that.
She said as her voice slid from poison to candy.
Not after everything. We're good for you.
Sweetheart, I began. But gave up and dropped her arm. Oh, never mind. Leave me alone. Go back to bed.
Your meeting with the Archbishop didn't go well?
She purred with chemical sweetness. Who am I kidding? She only wanted to ensure she wouldn't be noted. All right, if the Archbishop wants to know what I'm thinking, I'll tell him. I suffered insults, humiliation, and condescension. So, I'd say on the whole, it was a rather typical day at work. I spend my life sucking up to a sanctimonious, soul-killing bureaucracy that I despise. And now my only redemptive quality is that I'm just a little less of a hypocrite than they are.
You still have us. A pleasant home.
Yes, thank you, darling. That's a little like looking at Rubens' The Raising of the Cross and saying, nice frame. The phone rang. It always amazed me how annoyances pile up all at once, while good things would appear only after long intervals. Do me a favor and don't cheer me up. Okay. Okay, love? I said as I picked up the receiver. And the worst thing about it is, there's not a damn thing I can do about it. I barked into the receiver, hello. Isn't it a little late to be calling people? Do you know what time it is? Had he been listening in as I spoke? Was my house bugged as well? Sorry, Your Excellency. What? Without conscious thought, I looked toward my antique grandfather. Clock in the corner. I could have sworn it was much later. What? Now? You want to go now? But, Archbishop, it's late. I know, yes, I know. But I'll be there in about an hour. 30 minutes? Okay. I slammed the phone down, not so much to hang up, but so I could grab the base and hurl it against my clock. I stood there fuming as the glass from the clock's face fell to the hardwood floor. Wonderful, it's the middle of the night, and now I had to go to that god-awful rundown part of town to the Nexus? That's when it hit me. I can leave. I can get out of here. Go anywhere. But would I? Could I be certain that's what I wanted? It's one thing to say that you can't take any more, and need to get out, but it's another thing altogether to step through a door into an unknown world, and never return. What if I ended up in a world with no other people? Or a world that had never developed beyond the Middle Ages? But what ifs multiplied faster than the speed of thought? While the allure of escape remained strong, I had to ask myself whether I wanted to do it. My life as it was, wore me down to where I needed out, but did I want to take a blind leap into another universe? Thinking myself into indecision, I realized I must have known the answer all along. Without conscious thought, I ransacked my house, shoved as many clothes as possible into a backpack, and took every cent out of my wall safe. My decision had been made. My house faded into the distance as I drove as fast as I could back to that abandoned hospital. If I could get there before anyone else, I could escape. But the Archbishop must have been en route when he called. As I pulled up, I saw his car already parked outside. 2 gendarmes stood guard on each side of the main entrance, with the Archbishop in between. I vowed to stay alert and be prepared to take advantage of any situation that may arise. In hindsight, no preparation I could have made would have prepared me for what waited for us down those dark, winding stairs. Without a word, we entered the building and made our way down those 5 flights. 5 of the gendarmes behind me, the Archbishop on my right, and in front of me walked Fen. But no Brooke. Why? I hadn't even formed the question in my mind when I stood in front of that old wooden door. Fen looked at me out of the corner of her eye before she opened it. I followed her in, and what I saw astonished me. Over my shoulder, the Archbishop exploded with rage. All we saw were cinder block walls and nothing else. The glass tunnel, platform, and the CCP were all gone. It was here. My insistence had a hollow tone. I'd been the victim of a con. The events of my last visit ran through my head as I tried to understand what had happened. I glared at Fen, who seemed lost in thought, all the while fumbling with something in her right jacket pocket. I mean, I'm not crazy. It was here.
Minister.
The Archbishop said. My mobile screamed, cutting off the Archbishop as he broke into a full rant. Hello. What? Why was an Inquisitor phoning me, and why did I fear for Brooke?
Put him on speaker.
The Archbishop said, and I obeyed. Can you repeat what you said for His Excellency? The Inquisitor hesitated. I cherished that moment. They do not hesitate or submit to anyone, but this one did to the Archbishop.
The new prisoner, Excellency.
He began.
Brooke Adams. It was all quick. We were beginning her interrogation when she appeared to have a coronary, sir.
Fen's eyes widened as her jaw lowered as the next words assaulted her.
She's dead. Your Excellency.
The Inquisitor said with surprising humility. In the background, I could hear the paramedics running into the interrogation chamber. Upon hearing that, Fen became as still as a corpse. You didn't check her family's medical history, I said, forgetting that Brooke had been an orphan.
There wasn't one minister. For all appearances, she was young and healthy.
The Archbishop took the phone and walked away as I tried to understand what had happened. Had I wanted a way out so much that I believed I could go to another world?
I want her brain dissected.
The Archbishop hung up before turning to Fen.
That was unfortunate. I'm sorry for your loss, but I hope this situation has stressed to you the importance of cooperating.
She can't be.
Fen's voice faded into nothingness. The Archbishop made the slightest of gestures, and the gendarmes took her into their custody.
You've been in Adam's employ for quite some time,
he said.
She must have confided in you, told you of the heretics.
2 gendarmes escorted her out of the basement. 2 of the other gendarmes took up positions opposite the door to provide a clear line of fire at anyone who entered.
You 2 stay here. Arrest anyone who enters.
He turned to me.
As for you, what's your role in this?
Me. What did I do? I ask you, could this day get any worse?
I know what to do to you.
He turned to the remaining officers.
Take him with you.
With that, the remaining gendarme grabbed my arm and led me away. I looked back at the barren basement. What happened? Where did everything go? The platform? The apertures?